Go.
Chronic pain affects more than 86 million Americans. Almost anything can cause chronic pain, making everyday activities very difficult. We want to tell you the story of a dancer whose career ended once she suffered from a ballet injury. The injury was nothing more than a hamstring, she thought at the time, a tear that quickly turned into a burning pain. Cynthia Toussaint joins us today from Los Angeles to tell us her story. Welcome, Cynthia.
Hi, Marie. Thank you so much for having me today.
Thank you for joining us. Tell us a little bit about what happened and what you've been through.
My gosh, it goes back 26 years. I was a ballerina. I had my whole life in front of me. I was up for a part on the show Fame, and I was dancing about 6 hours a day, and I tore my hamstring one day. And my ballet trainer told me that I wouldn't dance for 8 weeks. I thought, no, that can't possibly be true. I mean, I was a dancer. That's what I did. And sadly, my injury turned into the most excruciating burning pain I could ever imagine. The injury triggered the chronic pain disease known as reflex sympathetic dystrophy, also known as complex regional pain syndrome. So I have been sick now for 26 years, and for the first 13 and a half years of my illness, all of my HMO physicians told me that my physical problems were all in my head. I was told that I was suffering stage fright, had tendonitis from Mars. I was told that I was enjoying the secondary gain I was receiving from my partner. One doctor even told me to take a truth serum to prove that I really wasn't in pain. So as a result of that, I was bedridden for 10 years, and I couldn't speak for 5 of those years while the RSD spread throughout my entire body and ravaged my vocal cords. Pretty awful.
How was the diagnosis made? When do you feel that you suddenly were taken seriously and a diagnosis was made?
Well, actually, the diagnosis was made by my HMO internist, but she told my life partner, John, rather than me, so I had to call her and make sure I'd gotten the diagnosis. Then I was lucky enough to be able to get out of that HMO, and I got, real care with doctors who believed me, who had no incentive to not treat me, and that's when I started getting better, and I got better really quickly, and that was after 15 years of this horrible chronic pain.
I think people that are watching this are wondering, what is, and actually as doctors we call it RSD, this reflex sympathetic dystrophy. How does that happen? Can you explain it a little bit in your own
Yes.
words?
Right. Well, RSD is a disease of the nervous system. It's a chronic pain disease. It starts with some kind of trauma to the body. It can be as minor as a pinprick. It can be from wearing your shoes too tight, or it can be something as severe like a broken arm or a heart attack. And what happens with RSD, mine started with a hamstring injury. I was a ballerina. And what happens is that the central nervous system sends a message to the brain that says we have pain. And for some reason, with RSD, that message doesn't know how to shut off. And instead of shutting off, which is normal, it continues to amplify, so it's like pain, pain, pain. And then those neurons that have learned how to do that decide that they're going to share that information with other neurons because they've learned how to give this signal to the brain. And that's the most horrible part about RSD, is that it spreads throughout the entire body. This is not an aching pain. This is a pain like you have been doused with gasoline and lit on fire. RSD is most known as the suicide disease. Sadly, so many of us take our own lives because it's unbearable. Also, as a result of our...
I was just going to say, again, once you were diagnosed, is there a specific form of treatment that works, or how were you treated?
There is, but for me it was too late for a cure. It's fairly easy to cure people with RSD as long as they're caught very early, usually 3 to 6 months into the disease. For me it was way too late for that, but I got good care. I tried different medications. One anti-seizure medication really helped me. It was like the magic pill for me. And then I got excellent physical therapy, and I was literally folded up into a fetal position, and I had a wonderful therapist who slowly, with guided imagery and something called Feldenkrais, unfolded my body. My arm and my right arm and my right leg still haven't unfolded, and they won't. But they unfolded most of me, and I also got psychological help, support, and we all need that because everyone with RSD, and it's mostly women, we get told that we're crazy. Our families abandon us. Everybody in my family left me. Only my partner John stayed by my side, so I kind of have my pre-RSD life and my post-RSD life, and it's so sad. And that's actually loss of spouse and suicide are considered symptoms of RSD. That's not good enough.
Right. You mentioned that women are more likely to have RSD. As a physician, imagine that it's not always the experience, because certainly we know that men and women are susceptible. But from what you're hinting at, it sounds like you're suggesting maybe women are less likely to be taken seriously. Maybe they're not diagnosed as soon.
Absolutely, Marie. And what happened was my partner John gave me a report from the Journal of Law, Medicine, and Ethics. Maybe you've read it, called The Girl Who Cried Pain. And that's where I learned, that was the last piece of my pain puzzle. I learned that we women are predisposed to all of the chronic pain diseases. We feel pain more intensely than men, and surprisingly, we have a lower pain threshold. However, when we women report our pain to our physicians, we're told that it's hormonal, all in our heads. We are given sedatives and antidepressants, whereas men are much more likely to be believed and to be given painkillers. I want equal treatment for all women suffering pain in this country.
Right. And speaking of medications and even depression, I think some people are confused when, as doctors, will prescribe an antidepressant for the chronic pain.
Sure.
But it sounds like you understand, that there's a real tight connection between chronic pain.
Absolutely. And actually, I have fibromyalgia now as well as an overlapping condition which starves me of sleep. And to understand the pain experience, I mean, think about how you torture a person. You inflict physical pain and you deprive them of sleep. So we with chronic pain are being... Go ahead.
Yeah, we've got to go. But thank you so much for joining us. I appreciate it so much.
Thank you so much for having me.
Sure.
I appreciate it.
Sure.